welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. I was just explaining to Ashley how marriage works.
And
Which you have to look forward to.
Things.
Yeah, after X amount of years, you just stare angrily at one another over the rim of books and newspapers and phones and things like that. And that's it. That's it. Like, no meaningful conversation. So, hi, we're playing. I'm sorry, Long. What's the name of the game we're playing again tonight?
Worlds Without Number.
You sure?
World with Number.
Is that your final answer? Yeah. Okay. Worlds Without Number tonight. Right on. Okay, so we've got a hard stop time tonight for 2 hours, so I'm going to get through introductions really fast. If you're watching us, whether you're live in the channel, Gaylor in the channel, thank you. Hello. Thanks for folks for coming by. If you're watching this later on VOD or on YouTube, we appreciate you. We do all sorts of different games here. We play on Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Mondays, we tend to alternate between freely games, so we're currently playing Alien and Things from the Flood. On Fridays, we've been doing Delta Green, the Impossible Landscapes campaign, and on Saturdays, we've been doing our kind of homebrewy Worlds Without Number sci-fantasy game. So we're a couple sessions in, and we're just sort of having fun, keeping it loose, and seeing where it goes. It's a good time. Let's do introductions to characters. So just Octavia. Ashley, you're playing Octavia.
Yeah.
Who's Octavia?
I am our warrior skin shifter. I just really want to make friends. That's my overall goal. Eventually I'll probably have my own enclave one day. Totally not a cult, but maybe with just a dash of cult.
That's so funny that you mentioned that. I wrote down when we were doing our little home scenes a couple sessions ago, Octavia goal, cult but friendly ? That's what I wrote. I wrote cult but friendly.
There's gonna be no Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
None of that nonsense.
No suicide pacts or anything like that.
No.
Or weird questionable belief systems and ethos and everything. It's just a place to hang out, That's kind of all it is. Okay.
We're just gonna farm together.
All right.
Okay.
Speaking of farming, this doesn't make any sense. Weiss or Vice. Is it a W or is it a V? How do we pronounce it?
V is Vice.
It's a V, Vice. Okay.
Vanilla Vice.
Who are you?
Yeah, so I'm a blood priest duelist. Also the physician or the healer of the group. Pretty rigid in the face. And a little special thing is I build my weapons out of the bones that fall off of me.
Yeah, it's really cool. We got these artwork here too along the bottom of the each player frame. That was Logan. Melissa, if you want to drop the link to Logan's Insta, I think there should be a command. But yeah, I thought he did a really good job of the laurels. All that stuff is just bone growing out and everything. These are all our own origins. In Worlds Without Number, you can kind of develop your own origins or ancestries, race, however you want to interpret it. But it's called Origin in the game. And we made our own, the different alien species. And so his is all about growing exterior bones and then crafting them in a weapon. So it's pretty cool. And you saved our last player's life last week. So Nenka.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So who's So Nenka?
So she is.
I'm doing giraffe neck.
I'm being a jerk today. I don't know what's going on. It's hot. Who's So Nenka?
She is a Sidawan. So generally, Sidawan are very tough, can handle themselves well in extreme environments and all of those types of things. But I got some owies last time, and so now I'm frail. And so that is not a position that a Sidawan wants to be in.
That's true. Anyone, really.
No, but so with my Master's Vigor, I have been kind of recuperating some of that.
Mm-hmm.
But while I am still frail, if I go down all the way to 0 HP, I will be dead.
Yeah, we got to dig into the death and dying rules for the first time last sesh, which was great. No, it's really good that we got to explore the space, Yeah, really got to dig into those rules.
Sure.
It was close. It was really close, actually. If not for a new friend you all made named Mag, who helped you kill a half charcoal, half shark creature. Charcoalodon, I think we were settled on. You might have been Charcoalodon food deep down in the
we
bowels
could have been
of the
Charcoalodon, Jeff.
Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, everybody, tonight. We'll see you next time. I don't have any more care left in me. It's over. It's been a good run. Adventures Lollygagging, but we're over now. So anyway, oh man, we're slap happy today. That's good. It's so hot. It's like now that this new
It's
Windows
108.
update is putting the temperature right on my taskbar now.
Yeah, I saw that too.
So it's like constantly taunting me. 109 degrees. It's wrong. Anyway, let's do a quick sum. So you guys are on a little mission. You met a Furkin family, which is like a group of like little chinchillas and things, who tasked you all or asked you and paid you to head down into the dangerous tunnels below our ancient alien megacity known as Big Husk. And it's a dangerous place because not all of the tech that this ancient alien species left behind after they departed for whatever reason, not all of it has been turned off, and some of it still works, and some of it has changed, and some of it is very dangerous. And so usually these small little families of chinchilla creatures, they go route running below the earth and try to find new places so that the powers that be in the city can explore, can find new tech, and figure out how the hell to get off this planet, because all of you are basically refugees on this world. You've come from different places across the galaxy, so to speak, and you're living probably below your technological means by being here. So you went down into the tunnels. You met a friendly elemental dwarf by the name of Mag, who helped slay a giant charcoal monster, and then you delved through some tunnels. We did like a little delve mechanic from Heart, one of the other games I love. And eventually, you made your way into this very smoky area. It's a smoky cave area. You saw these flickering little bits of lights, these people that were moving about, but they look like almost like holographic flickering images. Nothing like what you guys experienced when you were assaulted by moon gorillas. And they didn't seem to interact with you at all. You were definitely alert for what were called smoke coils, some kind of weird snake-like monster that sits throughout the smoke in these tunnels. And even though you found some tracks of this Furkin family that you think this is who you're sent down here to find, good old Vice found this hatch. Spent 45 minutes opening it, and it was like, damn it, spent 45 minutes opening it. We're going down that hatch. And so that's exactly what we did. So we're going to do the hatch now. Let me get a little music on here. This is going to be music to kill your friends to. That's the name of the playlist. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to switch you to a new map so you can see exactly where you all went. I'm playing with all sorts of different fancy things on Foundry. I love Foundry. It's so much fun. So let's move you guys on over.
Is music to kill your friends too on Spotify? Can I listen to this?
It's music to murder your friends by. So there we go. So let me describe this a bit as you guys descend into darkness. Sonenka, you have your Savage Sight on, your ability that effectively gives you what we all, if you're a D&D Pathfinder alum, it's dark vision, effectively is what it is. We've got it set up right now that Vice, you said you're going to have a lamp or a torch out. Octavia, you can choose to carry something if you want, but since you guys are all tucked together, that's up to you to decide. The descent down this ladder is a very long distance, at least 100 feet, maybe more. Periodically, you can see these other floors along the way that you could have potentially one day at some point gotten out on. Unfortunately, over time, seems to have collapsed those tunnels. And so the ladder isn't like a smooth climb downwards, but not so difficult that I'm going to require climbs. When you're about 50 feet or so down the ladder, the last person who came down, we'll say Sonenka, as you look up, you can see this creature. And you remember, you saw a lot of these little flickering, almost like holographic images, that's like harmlessly bouncing around in different directions. And when you looked up, you saw one of them kind of grin and suddenly chuckle. And then that very hatch that Vice spent so much time opening got shut, and you heard like the spinning, almost like of a submarine wheel, and then kind of clamped shut. You guys continue to descend, and you start to see small flickering lights from below. But when you finally reach the surface, there's no broad light anywhere in this particular room. But when you look off and around this room, you see a lot of those same flickering holographic images that you saw moving about in the cave tunnels above you. You also notice to your north, and I'll give you just an idea because there's things that you're seeing even in this darkness. Off to the north, you see two very bright orbs flickering at various intervals. Immediately about 5 to 10 feet to the north of you there, Octavia, you notice that there's some kind of liquid, almost like a channel in between what look like these kind of pasty, rusted floor panels. And up ahead, you can see that there are somewhere in the neighborhood of like 6 to 12 of these flickering holographic shapes that don't really seem to pay any attention to you as you step down in here. As you're moving your feet about on the panels of the ground, that's some sort of metallic tile perhaps, your feet become stuck every now and then as there's some kind of residue that has covered them. And so you kind of pick up your boots and you look at them and you kind of flake it off, and it's just this flaky orange-brown substance. What would you guys like to do down here? Oh, thanks for stopping by, Pete. Have a good night. What would you guys like to do down here?
I'd like to move towards the north and check out those lights.
Okay. Let me adjust the music slightly. It's a little loud. Drowning out along. Okay, go ahead and move your pawn. It's a giant movie theater. Okay, so as you move up, oh my god, this music's so intense. Okay. It's too intense. I'm turning it off for now. Okay, so
I got worried. It's like,
I know,
oh,
yeah,
God.
it was way intense. It just got super, super intense for me, and I was starting to get stressed out for you guys. You move up a bit, and you can see that there's a bridge going across this liquidy channel. When you peer down into that channel in the middle, it certainly doesn't look like water. It's not flowing in any particular way. It's very much just a kind of a stagnant pool of something. The light flickers off of it. You can see that it goes down fairly deeply, and there's all sorts of pipes and various other pieces of machinery submerged beneath it. To your left, as you move up, Vice, you can see that one of these flickering holographic figures is standing in front of what looks like some kind of terminal. You've probably seen some kind of terminals like these before, moving about Big Husk. They don't seem, again, to pay any real attention to you whatsoever, but you hear various beeps and flickerings, but they seem to be going through some kind of motion, and every now and then there's a as if they hum and say something to themselves, but it's hard to discern exactly what they say. What would you like to do?
I'll just cross the bridge.
Okay. What are the two of you doing, Octavia and Sonenka?
Following.
All right. So you follow up. And when you move over and across the bridge, you can go ahead and move yourself, Melissa. Octavia?
I can't see where I'm at anymore.
Because you're...
Well, thank you.
Okay. Because it was I had them with the torches, and so, yeah, as long as you stick with them. But if you want to put one out, it's fine. I can give you light. Okay. You come across, and you can see that there's this flickering orb that's hovering over top of a platform. You also see off to your left in a little cubby, you see another platform there as well. And instead of seeing an orb in the center hovering atop it, you see what almost looks like these blue strips of electricity just kicking out from the sides of the walls and occasionally dipping down and touching the platform and then bouncing up to the other side. You also notice a fairly large, probably about 10-foot tall piece of machinery, and it's on either side of this central channel of liquid. And there's a small whirring sound, very faint. They seem to be functional in some way. And there are these two, again, these blue kind of glowing, flickering figures that none of them, as you've moved, have paid any real attention to you as you've moved across. You also notice in the northeast corner over here, there's another one of these orbs that also flickers. As you guys are standing here, you watch as when the orb kind of goes down to its darkest point and then flickers back up to like its brightest point, you see a figure just emerge from it and just begins walking in your direction.
I'll avoid it, just to not touch it.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. So you guys, and you watch as it just moves and crosses the bridge here, and you can watch because these are, again, they're illuminated, so you can see them from a great distance, even if your torchlight doesn't necessarily bask them in anything. You can kind of see them going off, and it seems to move up to one of those other terminals in the south there. Would you guys like to do?
So he just came out of it?
Yeah, it just like it went dark and then it lit up again, and then you saw it just manifested on top of him.
So my immediate thoughts is either they're making these guys from this thing or it's some sort of teleporter. I'll just
Look
what
a
is
little
that?
more closely.
Okay.
Bad.
What are you guys doing? Like when you say look more closely, when you
Can
come
get a
up,
feel around it if it like feels any different.
okay. So yeah, when you get up fairly close to it, you can tell that it actually doesn't seem to be giving off like much temperature at all. Like it's just covering you and bathing you in this sort of blue flickering light. The platforms are below, and I would say there's probably about a 3-foot distance between where the highest point of the platform and the kind of the blue orb. There's like a gap there, so you can definitely tell that it's hovering. Roll a notice test if anybody wants to.
I have a
So I'm
+2 on notice because of
hearing
my
a
savage
whirling
senses.
sound. Is that just me?
Yeah, it's a new
Oh.
thing I'm playing with. If you don't
You
want to
got
hear it
close to
anymore,
it.
just stop clicking on, like, don't activate your token. You can do these things in Foundry. That's why I love Foundry.
Oh my
It's like
god.
when you get close to
going
certain
crazy.
things, yeah,
Jeez.
it's making all sorts of bzz, bzz, bzz. So if
That's
you
super
don't,
cool.
so all you gotta do is unclick your token. Just click somewhere else on the map, and as long as you're not activated, you won't hear it. How'd you do?
I got a 12.
Oh yeah, 12 is plenty. So a couple things you notice. Probably at some point as you're walking past this, like, and you're moving and turning around a bit, looking at it, keeping a little bit of a distance. At some point, someone maybe gets a little too close. Maybe they turn and then like a little fray, like a frayed piece of string or something from one of their packs just so happens to like breach the outer barrier of this orb, and you can see it just go and it falls to the ground as like these small little cube bluey crystals, and then just dissipates on the floor, giving you the sense that touching this is very dangerous.
I'll look around to see if there's any reaction of any of the other blue holographic figures when that just happened.
Okay. I'm actually gonna have to roll another notice test for that. I'm
Sure.
sorry. I hate to do that. But
Oh,
go
no,
ahead.
just looking for a different
It's
thing.
a different thing. Yeah.
Yep. 13.
Okay. Jeez, your notice is amazing. Almost all of them completely ignore, don't pay attention whatsoever. You do notice that there is one difference. There is a figure off to the southwest. I'm going to go ahead and ping it. That one right over there, right next to where I pinged. That is just like staring in your direction. And is the only one of these figures, even the one that emerged and walked towards you, never looked at you all, never seemed to have any sense of recognition. But you get this sudden feeling that this thing is staring at you. Even though
I'm going to elbow Vice and Octavia and just point.
Keep my eye on it then.
Okay.
Sinenka, it's pointing's kind of rude. What are we looking at?
The one that's looking at us.
Sinek, you remember when I said that one crawled in my throat and is in my body now? I really don't want that to happen again.
Sure. Yeah. Let's keep an eye on that one then.
I just kidding.
Sinenka has no idea how to deal with me.
God, I love Himbo. I love Himbo Ashley. It's so good.
I'll just keep moving along with.
Okay, which way? All right,
Yeah.
okay, so if you continue moving in that direction, a couple things, to borrow a phrase from a much more successful and higher quality podcast, are going to happen. First, you notice that there's a series of these electrical shortages that seem to be like popping down and ricocheting off of this platform. I need you to roll a luck test. So just roll luck save just on the character
All of
sheet.
us, or just Long?
Just Long, since he's out in front, or Vice, I should say.
Luck.
Yeah, just roll luck. Okay.
Cool, success.
Yeah, so as you're walking past, you notice that a stray arc of this blue electricity shoots out in your direction, but you manage to stop just in time as it lands right in front of you, darkening a little black spot on the ground that suddenly glows blue and then dissipates and looks like it just completely disintegrated. It's the size of maybe a quarter. Both Octavia and Sonika are right behind you when we do that classic comedic bump, bump, bump as you all like bump into each other when that happens.
Oh, keep your distance.
Should do bets on how many PCs die. It's a good idea.
I am frail, so.
Yeah, Sonika is definitely the one I would put my money on if anyone's going to die.
Just keep crossing the room then.
No, hang on. There's a couple more things that are going to happen.
As well.
So you notice up ahead, directly in front of you, you can see that there's some kind of machine as well that some of these figures, these kind of blue glowy figures, are still trying to kind of moving around or trying to mess with. I'll recenter the map slightly. And you can see that, again, they're not paying attention to you in the slightest. But the minute you get close to it, you notice as the figure that has been just staring you all down and just watching you move across the northern parts of the river, one of their fists begins to glow brighter than any other of these holographic images that you've seen around here. And you can see that this arc of electricity just leaps out of it across that river in the direction of Vice. So I'm going to go ahead and just...
Oh, no.
What? What's the matter?
Oh, no.
Everything's fine.
No.
Everything's fine.
It's not fine.
It hits an AC of 10, but unfortunately, I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah, it's a miss.
But it does do 1 point of shock damage. As all of you watch as this blue arcing electricity leaps across from one side of the river at a very long distance, and even though Vice is able to quickly brace himself from it, you do feel like this strange tingling, almost as like your funny bone was hit, as your arms and your legs have this weird numb tingliness to it. And we're going to go ahead and break into initiative at this point.
How does shock damage work?
You just take a point of damage.
Oh, okay.
It just means that you took damage beyond your, like, it doesn't matter what your, what your, actually, what is your AC, I should say? What's your AC? I should have asked your shock AC.
Let me check.
Because it only deals shock damage to an AC of 12.
12, yeah.
It is 14.
Okay, yeah, you don't even take that, but you do feel that same numbness, but you don't take any damage. So all it is shock is like, even if you miss an attack, some weapons are so like powerful or piercing or pervasive in some way that they can still potentially deal damage to you. Go ahead and get this going. All right. Was that a yawn? Get off my stream
I've
right
been
now.
awake
Get
since
off my
10
stream. Get off my stream.
Give me some slack.
Get off my stream.
This is what happens when air conditioners don't work and it's 109 outside. This is what happens.
This is
Get
what
off.
happens when you haven't slept in 48 hours, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I also really like the shock mechanic, Millie. It's great. I think it speeds combat up a little bit. Everything doesn't become just like this big sponge effect. Okay, we're beginning combat. You guys are actually going to get to go first on this because of Octavia's third eye opens up and you get that little bonus to initiative. So Octavia, Sonika, and Vice, none of these other figures have, even at this point, even with that arcing of that electricity, have done anything even remotely to recognize your presence. But this one that has stared you down like daggers as you've moved across the room and poked at things and is now shot effectively at Vice. So one of the three of you can go any order you want.
Speaking of daggers, I'm gonna throw one.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, now I'm going to put some music on to kill your friends by.
Okay.
It's by Tabletop Audio.
I need to make a,
There we go.
Spotify playlist. Just to have.
Music to kill your friends by.
Hits AC 18.
So you get your knife, you move up get into the position where you can throw, and then you just hurl it across, and it goes into darkness at some point because of just the way the light's working, and then suddenly is lit up by some of the holographic creatures. Like its own glowing fist suddenly makes it look all blue as you see it cuts through them. Now, even though this figure is essentially like spectral light of some kind, you see that the blade, as it's spinning and covering over and tumbling over itself, slows as it passes through the torso, and then it lands on the other side, so it doesn't stay embedded, but you see it visibly slow down and slam to the ground.
Okay.
Dealing a certain amount of damage.
3 damage. 2 shock to 15 or less.
Roll a notice test.
Sorry.
Don't worry about the shock. The shock if you hit only matters if the damage you do is more than what you would have done normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll a notice test.
8.
Okay, you did 3 points of damage. You watch as right next to you and Octavia, one of these other creatures just falls to like pieces, these cube blue pieces on the ground, and just dissipates onto the ground. You see another one down the way right next to Vice do the same thing, and then another one on the other side of the river. One of the two of you now, Octavia and Vice, can now go.
I'll run up directly to it, even like if I can pass this guy on the bridge.
Yeah, go ahead. I need you to roll a physical save, Vice. As you burst through the holographic image that's sitting on top of the bridge, and as you do, you just feel this intense amount of like kind of dizziness overcome you, and you stumble to the ground, and you fall prone right on top of their bridge before you actually reach this creature. You don't take any damage, but you just fall prone, and so just make sure you have enough movement to, like, how much? Do you have any range on your weapon or anything like that? Because you would fall prone about 1 square backwards.
Let me see. I can throw this, right?
Yeah, pretty much anything you can throw. Some of them have like a throw, the throw tag, meaning you don't suffer any sort of penalty. So if it's like a dagger, you can throw it easily.
I'm a throwing blade. That's all right.
Yeah, throw that.
All right.
As you fall, and you feel like this wave of nausea and dizziness, almost like a vertigo effect. 13 will not hit. As you throw, as the stumbling to the ground, your vision suddenly gets blurred. You throw, but you hit the wrong of the 2 doubles that you actually are now seeing, and the knife just sails off into the darkness. And you actually see that it's standing right next to what looks like this large pit of some kind. You worry slightly that maybe your dagger might have fallen into it. We'll figure that out later. Octavia, go ahead.
So I'm gonna light a torch.
Okay, sure. We can do that. I'll take care of you.
And then I'm going to head over to the machine that created like a copy of that dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 5, 10. And then I think that's all I can do because I had to take out my torch.
Yep.
And then walk over.
Sounds good. So you got your torch up. Do you have anything else in your other arm? Weapon, shield?
I have a dagger right now and my shield.
Okay, well,
No. So I'd have to put the shield away to have my torch.
Yeah, so you have the torch and a weapon out.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Its turn now. You see it step up, eyes glowing like this intense brightness, and as you look at it, and it's standing in front of you, you see it begins to just sort of blur out briefly, and then it kind of just starts to pixelate a bit for a moment. And then when it reappears into sort of its normal form, it reaches down and it touches you as it attempts to use its electric shock, or electric charge, I should say. and still cannot do any damage to you as you're able, as it's just trying to swing down at you, and it's being very ineffective in doing so. Let me roll one other quick thing. So Octavia, you moved over towards where one of these orbs are standing. You watch as this thing dips down into darkness once more, and as you're there, you can see that it begins to flicker back in, and you notice that, let's see, it's going to be as another one of these figures emerges from it. As it does, it literally walks past you towards where the one that was previously standing and kind of dispersed into pieces next to you and Sonika, and it just walks right back as if it's taking up the position where the last one was. And that's the end of this round, so we'll go to the next round. This will be Octavia, Sonika, or Vice again.
Yeah, I'll stand up from prone.
Mhm.
And then I'll just focus it with my dagger.
Yeah, go for it. Roll your attack.
Oh man, it's only a 6.
Yeah.
No.
As you reach out to try to attack it, you see as it just sort of starts to distort slightly and blur a little bit, and its body just bends like light as you thrust out with your arm, and then as you retract your arm, it just rights itself once more and is standing upright and solidified.
Is that shock damage any good or?
Yeah, for the AC 15 or less.
AC 15 or yeah, it does actually go through. AC 15 is its AC. So you guys watch as the other one that was standing right next to Sonika just breaks into what looks like 100 small cubes and just dissipates on the ground. Others around the room do the same. And then Octavia or Sonika, what would you like to do?
Is there a terminal that doesn't have one of those figures in front of it then?
You
Because
see,
the one right next to me still has one.
there's. I would say you have dark vision, so you would see across the way where Ashley just pinged. Looks like that one's free. Yeah.
Okay. I
And
am
then
going to...
You did recall, like in a cubby towards the southeast, there were a couple terminals, and there was only one or two of them down there. I think that's probably outside of your dark vision at this point. But looking over, you don't see any. You only see like one of these ghostly figures standing in it.
Okay. I am going to spend all of my movement trying to come over here and just see what I can do at one of these terminals. I don't know that I'll be able to get to the terminal this time.
Okay, so move your token to where you're going.
I've got... Checking my movement.
Yeah,
I've got
30 or so.
30 movement, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to get very far.
Awesome. That's great. What would you like to do over here? Anything in particular, or do you just want to burn your action to move further?
I'll burn my action to move further because I want to get over here
Okay.
so that I can see if I can screw around with the terminal.
Yeah,
so
go right ahead.
I will get to here, and that's as far as I can get on
Sounds good.
my turn.
Okay, Octavia, what do you want to do?
I want to like try and rip open a panel on this thing.
Okay.
To see if maybe there's like some wires or something I can get to get rid of the power source.
Okay. So are you just looking to hack away at it, or are you like literally trying to be intelligent and like pry stuff up, or are you just doing like
I'm trying to.
Ugh.
For now, I'm trying to pry stuff up. Like I'm looking for like a seam that I can get in there, and then I
Okay.
can rip it off.
I would say give me either a notice or a craft roll. Either of those I think would apply, and then apply your wisdom to it. So a notice whiz or a craft whiz would probably be suitable here.
Okay.
Or a craft int actually would be fine too. How's Octavia's
looks
intelligence?
like-
It's better than her wisdom, I think.
Yeah,
I
my
recall
wisdom's
correctly.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Actually.
Octavia
I
just
can
makes
do-
bad choices.
I can do what in intelligence?
Intelligence, craft int. I'd say craft int or notice whiz.
Okay.
Because like
Okay,
craft
I'll
int,
try
it's
that
more of
one.
like trying to figure out how like the construction of it works, whereas notice whiz is just like seeing
Yeah, my
what
wisdom's 8.
you're. Yeah.
So I'm gonna try the craft.
Okay.
I got a 7.
7 is not good enough. I wanted a DC 8 for this.
Okay.
What I'll say is that like You start trying to pry away. You look for seams, and surprisingly, you don't see any. You see panels and things, but you don't see any clear seams. You don't see any clear mechanisms. You don't see any kind of wires or tubes or panels. It's possible something might be underneath. Maybe you have to like break up the floor panels and get underneath to it. So I would say at this point you're a little unsure how to intelligently deconstruct it. Doesn't mean you can't hack away at it at some point, though, if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to do, movement or something like that?
No, but I am just going to move a little bit off to the side.
Okay. So this thing is still right next to Vice, and I think it will instead... Okay. Vice, you notice as this thing kind of holds up its arm off in the direction of the side. And you can see that this figure that's off to the side of the screen suddenly dematerializes into about 100 of these glowing blue cubes and just hurl through the air and just are absorbed by this creature, who then makes an attack at you with it. And you can see that the arm through which it kind of absorbed it is glowing even more brightly now as it swings down in your direction. And that's going to hit an AC of 17.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it does 2 points of damage. So go ahead and take that 2 points. And then I need you to roll a physical save, please.
How are you doing, Long? Do you
I'm
need
saying the same thing.
Can you can you come back to us?
I failed the save.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Is it magical?
It is sort of magical, yeah. I mean, for if you have some kind of benefit that is based off magic, I'll give it to you, yeah.
It doesn't. Let's see. It says the first failed saving throw against magical effect I can negate
Yeah, I'll take it.
of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you've done it yet so far. It's more like tech than it is magic, but we're kind of using like magic, techno magic stuff kind of loosely. So it'll apply here. You feel your eyes like begin to sort of burst from the inside, and you kind of close them as quickly as you possibly can. And as you open them back up, they're watering.
Oh my God.
But you felt like your eyes were beginning to fail on you, as if you might be going blind, but you kind of shook it off. You focused, recentered, and you're okay. But you did take that 2 points of damage, and then we go around, and it's your guys' turn. I'm sorry. One other thing. I got to do a little roll to see. All right. Standing right next to you, Octavia, but not the one that you were just messing around with. You watch as another one of these figures suddenly emerges from the northeasternmost orb and begins sort of moving towards the bridge. That's where it'll stop for now. Your guys' turn. Start of a new round.
So I would like to move over to the terminal here and see what I can do.
Okay. Okay, so what is it you're looking to do? You tell me.
I'm trying to just push buttons and do stuff and try to see if there's any way that I can kind of shut any of this down.
Okay. Roll a craft int, DC 10.
Oh yeah, I can do it. All right.
So to try to operate it intelligently.
4.
No idea how this machine works. Is this a machine or is this just a really cool looking rock? Who knows? It's one of those two things. But, smashing things could potentially work as well. Yeah.
Is that all I can do for this turn? Is just...
We'll say, you didn't really
I
move
moved
much.
and then I did that, so...
Yeah, we did the roll and everything, so...
That's fine.
Sort of the same thing I gave Ashley. It's like literally you're tinkering with it. So it's not just like you're looking at it. You're like moving stuff around and trying to figure some things
Next
out.
time, smash.
Okay. Not sure what's going on with the music, why it suddenly stopped, but I think that's bad for you guys when the music stops, right?
Oh no, that means we're dead.
I think you guys are right now dead.
Yeah.
Hey, Gemini Factor. Yeah,
Hello.
Worlds Without Number is one of my new favorite games. I've been really enjoying it. Does a lot of things just sort of in a cool, kind of logical, streamlined way. And there's some awesome tools at the back of the book for like GM prep and everything. Highly recommended. Let's see. Octavia, you haven't gone yet. What do you want to do?
No. Would you say I'm still in war form? Because I did say that I shrunk back down a little bit, but I was still kind of feral.
Let's do a 50-50 roll. You want high or low?
I'll go low.
Okay. You are in fact still in your war form.
Cool. I want to just start hacking away at the base of this thing.
Yeah. Roll an attack.
So
Yeah, just real straight up attack. This thing's got like a hardness basically. It's got its own AC. This is your hack away at it. See how much damage you do.
Strength, and I'm just gonna say just this like stab attack. 10.
Yeah.
And
So yeah.
then, what is it?
Well,
for
that's a
damage?
strength app. Make an attack like with your weapon.
Sorry. My bad.
10 is still good enough. So like if you happen to roll worth. Okay. 12. 12's
3
plenty.
damage.
So you hack away at it, and you start realizing as you smash into it that there are in fact seams between these. They're just so incredibly small. The engineering's so precise that you just didn't happen to notice them as panels start flying left and right, and you can see underneath them as you rip them away. You can see that there's these little mechanisms like whirring and buzzing and kind of sliding around, a little bit beyond your comprehension, I would say. However, I need you to make an evasion save, because as you're doing this, as you're hacking away at it, you can see that the orb is kind of growing and like shooting out as you start to hack at it. These little trickles of electricity start shooting out in different directions at you. So just evasion save.
Success.
Okay, yeah, you manage to at the last second like hold up your sword, and it just hits the blade of the sword and it kind of fizzles out. You can feel like your hand goes slightly numb as the charge runs down it, but it looks like whatever the main impact of that was, your weapon suffered it for you. Okay, so that's Octavia. Vice, have you gone yet?
I haven't got it.
All right, you're up, man.
I'll just shout out to the others. Better get a move on. I'm feeling numb here. And I'll just return my attack to this figure. But I'll do a blood for blood ability here. I'll commit the effort.
Okay.
So if it hits, it'll at least do
The maximum
damage I took.
Okay, go for it.
Oh.
All right, miss.
Still does 2 points to shock damage, though. So you're getting that. And as that happens, much like you've seen before, you can see these other figures around the room, including the one immediately behind you, fizzle out. It's at this point, I think all of you, or maybe not Octavia, but the other two definitely are starting to piece together that there is like some kind of damage funnel effect things that are happening. Like what you're doing to this figure that seems to pay attention to you and doesn't seem to be like, beholden to some rote behavior in the room, seems to be funneling it towards it. And it's now its turn. It's unfortunately can't use that ability that I used last time, so I think it's just going to do a very boring normal. So it reaches down once more and tries to reach into your chest a bit. With a 21, it you watch as this glowing fist, like it's a Hadoken, just right into your chest, and you feel your lungs just begin to just burn away, and you feel a shock as it rips the arm back out, and you feel your insides are just suddenly numb, as if you've almost forgotten how to breathe, like you're trying to tell your lungs exactly how to do it. So go ahead and take 2 points of damage.
My last legs here.
Yeah.
How are you looking?
Yeah, disengage.
No, it's fine. I think you guys should hang out here. It's fine. I mean, no one else can save him. He's the healer. Kill the doctor. That's how I say. You guys are up. What do you guys want to do? Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting to do that thingy majig. So I have a little ability. You watch as Octavia, right in front of you, one of them you can see as it spawns right in front of you. It only spawns like half of its body. You see its legs didn't materialize, and this kind of glowing torso of a figure just falls to the ground and just seems to kind of crawl forward and then dissipates onto the ground itself, as if whatever you have done to this platform has certainly affected it. However, the other one, which has been untouched, you see something manifest right in front of it and begin to move in a direction away, and it lines up next to this machine. This other one moves towards you, Sonika, and begins working away at the machine that you're standing next to.
Well, that's unfortunate for it, because I'm gonna start smashing that
Yeah,
machine.
go ahead and roll an attack.
So I'm gonna take out my staff, is what I'm gonna use.
Okay.
And I'm going to just smash.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and just roll an attack with. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you just start hacking away at it. And whatever was like
Stupid technology.
stupid technology. Whatever was like there was like this kind of glowing, blinking light on it. You can see that whatever it is, you managed to smash. Like whatever you smashed seems to have disrupted its power in some way. And right as this thing kind of reaches out to start moving things around on the board, you see it just completely and utterly dissipates in front of you as it falls to the ground.
That's good, because I was not looking forward to being hit by anything.
Yeah, Gemini Factory. It's like a Gamma World, Ladder Earth. We're kind of just smashing a couple things together that are all kind of post-apocalyptic or dying Earth genre stuff like that. Okay, so that was Sonika, Vice, and Octavia. You're up.
I'm gonna. What's the disengage action again?
It's fighting withdrawal.
I don't withdraw. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna withdraw for now.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my movement.
Okay.
To run.
Yeah, go for it. Chicken. All right, go ahead. Yeah, move your character. That's fine.
Get
Oh,
to
you're not gonna move over
safety.
there, are you?
No, I am.
Okay, fair enough. Octavia, whatever you did to the platform has affected how they manifest. So you have the right idea. I don't know how Octavia came to this idea.
Rocks aren't supposed to glow, Jeff. This is unnatural.
Okay.
So Octavia, one of like the big old panels that like fell off from this thing, she's gonna pick it up and I want to jam it in to make those things stop spinning, because rocks also aren't supposed to spin like that, and she's not down.
Okay, this one right here, the one that you had previously attacked, or are you attacking the new one?
Ooh, yeah, I'll just attack the new one.
Okay. So as you smash away at this, roll an attack. Just do a punch or something like that. It's fine.
Just a punch or my sword?
Well, you're using the panel, I thought you said, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so just roll like a punch or a stab if that's better for you, whatever you prefer. I don't care. Okay.
8.
No, it's fine. Eight's plenty. As you smash away at it, you start noticing that these two things are beginning to dim down to the point where there's just like the faintest of bluish glow, but they don't really seem to be pulsing anymore. Whatever you've done, you feel like you've disabled them.
Hey guys, like, Sunenka, I made the rock stop.
I made the
Good job.
rock stop.
Good job. Rocks are bad. Lesson from last weekend this week. Rocks are
Rocks aren't supposed to glow, and they killed our cart. So fuck
Rock
rocks.
guy helped you last week. He saved your
He's
life.
cool. We're best friends.
Okay. All right.
But I think that's it for my turn.
Sonika, I think you still have to go in this round. Is that right? Oh no, you smashed.
no,
You went
yeah.
first.
She went
Sorry.
first.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what that means? Is this one gets to
It's-
go next?
Their turn.
Just checking something. Oh boy.
Ugh,
Okay.
I'm scared. Jeff measured me.
What? Why would you worry about anything like that? Oops, that's not what I meant to do. All right, I can get. All right, so you're gonna see Vice. You're gonna watch as the guy who you've just been fighting with just disappears into darkness, and so does the one standing next to you, and both of them poof back into existence, but they are like they replaced each other. So it's like one of them just and then it's going to shoot out what looks like essentially like some kind of harm touch or some kind of like chain lightning in the direction of Sonica, or not Sonica, of Octavia, who is now in its range.
Okay. I'm so excited.
I just want to point out, this was an entirely optional encounter. You had there was no reason to come down here, and you guys
We
did.
could have followed the footsteps and ignored the hat.
Does it have to exceed my AC?
It hits or it is or higher. And don't forget, you don't have your shield, so make sure you undo your readied, because your shield is probably still readied, and if you take your shield off, your AC should go down slightly. Either way, it hits you.
Yeah, my AC is 15.
Exactly. Yeah. So either way, it hits you. So you take 3 points of damage as you feel like the numbness begin to overtake you. And it
Would
is.
you say I have some resistance
Pot?
to numbness because I swam in the water in my himbo skills?
And somehow you now don't get
And,
numb
like, that's
from
just-
electrical charges?
I just don't notice my body parts going numb anymore.
I don't even know the words that are coming out of your mouth right now. Do you think I have some resistance to numbness because I swam in the water? No, I don't think you have resistance to numbness because you swam in the water. Take your 3 points of damage.
It's a new skill. We're making things up as we go.
I'm just trying to himbo it up,
No,
Jeff.
oh yeah, you're succeeding greatly. All right, because you've just disabled those platforms, you can see that they're struggling to manifest new ones, and nothing new pops up this round. So it's your guys' turn.
I want to hit it.
Red side, best side. I also wonder what happened to those squid guys. The ones that Octavia and everybody left for dead and abandoned.
I was the only one who went in the water.
You could have gone and saved them. You saw a portal and you're like, let me run away.
Yeah, to
A
hell.
real hero would have gone inside and
That was
pulled
probably
them
like-
out like a hero. Like when Wesley dove into like the quicksand and like
I know.
came up with Buttercup.
But
That's what could
Wesley's
have happened.
also wise.
That's a fair
you
point.
know?
That's a good point. Okay. Your guys' turn. Any order.
I would like to
Think you've-
hit
Think
with
you
my sword
hit what with your sword?
the guy who manifested and hit me with the numbing.
He's right here. Can you get to him?
Oh, sorry. Where? I must zoom out probably.
I think you probably have a
Oh.
30-foot movement.
I do have a 30-foot movement.
Yeah, go ahead and move up.
I will go here. Or wait, hold on.
Holding on.
Someone else go while I look this up.
All right, I'm
I'm
gonna
right
come over
behind him,
here.
so I'll just ride him.
All right, go ahead. You run up to him. What do you want to do?
Keep stabbing him repeatedly.
Okay, let's go ahead and stab him. People. Roll your attack. 16 is good.
16.
There you go.
You guys
That's a good
watch
roll.
as 2 more of these things flicker out of existence. What do you want to do, Sonenka, excuse me.
I'm gonna come over to this. Oh wait, there's a coming here, and then coming here, and then hitting.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll an attack.
It's beeping,
Yes, I
And
know. Sorry, I was playing with stuff.
blooping. And then I'm gonna make it stop doing that.
Okay, so you smash,
I'm gonna try.
roll attack. It's like a DC 8, so you're good. So all you gotta do is roll 8 or higher, or AC 8. I should
14.
say. 2 points of damage. Yeah, you flick away at it. Not only do you manage to hit it, but whatever beeping it was doing has now been destroyed. And you watch then as this other fella over here flickers off, and I'm running out.
Okay,
Uh,
Jeff.
It's your turn.
So I
Octavia.
want to do my Baphomian
Well,
thing
too
for
bad.
charging.
You're not allowed.
So when
Uh,
taking the charge special action in combat, my melee attack gains +3 to hit instead of +2.
Okay, but did you have enough movement to get there on your turn?
Well, because when you charge, you move up twice your normal move in a straight line
Okay.
before making a melee or thrown attack.
Okay, and your normal movement is like 30, and so I think you were about 45
was
feet
40.
away.
I was
Yeah.
40 away.
So yeah, so go ahead and move yourself right up next to him then.
Yep.
And then do your attack, yeah, as you come charging in like a freaking galloping ram.
Yep.
What's going on with my music?
I'm super goaty.
You really
know.
do look like.
So on a roll, I hit. Does that hit a 15?
15 does hit.
Okay, so
Sweet. 6 damage.
I get +3 to hit because of my charge, because I'm Baphomian.
You still hit. Yeah,
And I get +2. Yeah, so I definitely hit.
yeah. AC 15 was enough. You rolled enough to hit.
Okay.
6 points of damage, and you guys watch as the last of those flickering other non-committal holographic images dissipate. And as you start to strike away at this, you realize that your attacks are like kind of almost like you're trying to attack through water, as there's resistance.
Ooh, okay.
But you do seem to have been able to do some kind of damage as they start to like flicker and fade and blur a bit. They do not look to be as if they're maintaining their form. Whatever it is that's projecting them is doing a particularly good job as they're starting to dissipate. You're seeing those cracks appear almost in like little like rectangular and sort of square shaped cubes are starting to form as if they're falling apart. But they have enough HP to get one final attack off, it sounds like. I think because I feel like you'll be able to take care of it on its next turn. But it's going to reach out to you because you destroyed its platforms. You attacked it. It's going to do one more attack on Octavia. And with a 6, we'll do jack squat. And it's going to just, it's just there for the taking. Go ahead and roll your attacks. This guy literally has got 2 HP left. So as long as you guys hit, I think you're okay.
We'll attack it together.
Okay. Do it.
Oh,
Oh, damn.
22.
Describe how this looks.
So Octavia sweeps low for like the legs.
Sweeps low. You're sweeping the leg? Well, that's just, that's not
Yeah.
appropriate.
Going for the knees.
Okay.
I gotta hobble him.
Okay. You do.
How else do you catch friends?
So you manage to sweep in. This thing dissipates, falls, shatters to the ground almost like glass. And then as these glowing blue cubes lay still on the ground, they just dissipate into nothingness in front of you. And it is gone. And there are no more of these glowy figures anywhere in this room. What do you guys want to do with that?
Vice, how are you doing over there?
I think I'm okay now since it's clear.
Can't believe none of you
Do you need
died.
any?
I can manage.
All right, I'm gonna try to figure this thing out, and I want to go to the next little bleep bloop machine thing.
Okay. You go to these different bleep bloop machines. You're talking about the ones in the south, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I smashed one, and so I'm gonna go to the next one and try again with one of those int craft rolls.
Okay.
And try to figure out what it does.
Sure. Go ahead.
7.
You have no idea. No idea. However, one thing you do notice as you were smashing away at them is that there was some kind of like receptacle area on the console itself. There's all sorts of these levers and I'm sorry. I take that back.
Levers?
I take it back.
Levers?
Buttons. There's all sorts of buttons and gauges that's
Evil
measuring
shiny
something.
rocks.
You notice that there are a series, like each one of these consoles has some kind of receptacle. 2 of them are open and like kind of broken apart. These things have suffered significant damage. You can see that one of them is just almost entirely coated in that pasty orange-brown residue that you have been stepping in this whole time. But the third console, you can see the receptacle is intact. When you flip open the top, you can see that there is an object inside. Do you retrieve said object?
Of course.
You pull it out, and when you take a look at it, it fits in your hand. It looks to be handheld, like it's supposed to be held in hand. It's got its own small, like, display with a digital, like, meter bar. With that 7 roll, I don't think you're going to know exactly what it does, but I'll tell you this. You found something of interest, an item that you might be able to use.
I'm gonna walk around the room with it and see if like the little meter thing does anything. I'm gonna
Oh,
like
okay.
put it up to me and then like walk over to Vice and walk over to Octavia.
Okay. Actually, that is very intelligent. You do notice that as you do, and you like put it next to them, the meter changes. And it's hard to tell exactly what it is, but you're wondering if it's some kind of temperature gauge, maybe? Because you know that, Krastakharan have a tendency to run fairly cold. Like their temperatures are fairly cold, whereas Bohemians run hot, like incredibly hot, and Sedowans are like right in the middle. And so like you're seeing the meter kind of move with that. So you're thinking this is some kind of temperature gauge. There's all sorts of these different functions on it too. You're not sure exactly what it does, but one of the things it seems to allow you to do is notice it, that it has that kind of measurement capability. You also can see that there's like little blips that are occasionally trying to show up on that meter to the south, like over by where those giant holes are in the ground. But with that craft test, you're not really sure on how to interpret that. Oh God, Gemini, now I see it, and now I'm not going to not see it. It looks like you, like the little bit of your background almost looks like a horizontal. I'm never going to not see that now. Oh no.
It's really
do something about
mountains, but you got to see the whole mountains thing.
Melissa's off the show.
Okay. I'm gonna ask if either of them are better at tech stuff than I am. Like I'm better with like animals and things, but this does stuff.
Tavia points at what she's done to like the machines. I'd say I'm pretty good.
Holds up the panel. What's this do?
Like I just took this off, and like she kind of flexes for Senenka. Like I just took it off and I put it in. I made the rock stop spinning.
I'm sorry, Melissa. You can leave now. Millie is gonna take your place.
I'm going to push a different button on the thing and then hold it up to Octavia.
Okay.
Wait, am I also off the show? I forgot. I said.
And unfortunately, Octavia dies. You shoot her with some sort of laser beam. No. What does actually happen though is it does seem like the signals that were to the south, that were like kind of by those holes, those giant rifts and holes in the ground, they disappear. You hit the button again, and suddenly they're back.
Do you guys want to go take a look at the holes over there? This little thing says there's something over there.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit in this corner and patch myself up real quick.
Okay. Oh, in that corner? Not that.
Lead the way. I'll follow.
Should probably wait for him.
No, it's fine. Okay, so you go to the holes. And you take a look down.
I wink.
Okay. Don't forget that with healing, you guys can always group together, and like that 10 minutes worth of time that you have to expend is like literally attributed to everybody. So don't forget about that. So we don't have to do it. And like you guys aren't, you're not, it doesn't look like you're on a clock anymore because whatever it is that you were fighting is gone. However, you come to the holes and you look down, and Sonika, you notice that these things are incredibly deep. You don't see any floor to them. You shine your torch down them. You can see a lot of cross beams, like metal rafters, ripped apart pieces of pipe, construction material that has just crumbled in different ways. It looks like something either... Actually, roll an intelligence. You can do, I would say... no or magic. Yeah. Something like that.
Equal for me, so I'll do no. I know a 4.
Okay. Something terrible happened here. You're not sure exactly what though, but something you can definitely tell because most of the other rest of this chamber seems to be relatively intact. There's like in all sorts of places around the room. There's this orange brown pasty residue like everywhere. There's when you look up to the ceiling, which is about 50 feet up, you can see what looks like kind of black marks on the ceiling above these holes. Something happened in this area that you think was pretty terrible. It's hard to discern exactly what though. But going and looking down, you cannot see a bottom. Like you shine your torches, your lanterns down as far as you can. It's climbable, but it looks like a very dangerous climb. And by that I mean I probably require rolls. If you fail, bad
Could I
things might
do
happen.
what Vice did when he like threw the glowy rock down? Except I want to take the whole panel that I've been holding onto and just chuck it into the hole.
Okay. So
And then like see how long it takes to hit.
Chuck it into the hole. I'm not sure if Chuck's still here, but Chuck, you just got thrown into a giant black hole. And so a tall, bearded man who looks very much like a troll with glasses starts banging off of these different pipes, like clink, 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 like Plinko from Price is Right. Just, and you guys listen. Much, and I'm gonna make another reference, but just gonna jump to references here. Much like Lord of the Rings, that moment when Mary accidentally knocks the bucket down the well. It's a little bit like that, where it's just like you think it's over, and it's like, no, this keeps going, 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 and a significant amount of time later, you finally stop hearing it, but you're not sure if it just like stopped and hit, or if it's just fallen out of your hearing distance.
Range of hearing.
Yeah.
Octavia's gonna take a step back. She's like, no, thank you.
Okay. But it's definitely climbable, but it would be dangerous.
I want to just want to make sure that I've kind of investigated anything in the room that we may have missed. Like off to the
Okay. Just do
left,
like
maybe?
a cursory
Yeah.
Point out this area because he attacked me when I walked this corner.
northwest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you head up to the northwest. Roll and notice the two of you since you guys are both up there.
Okay. I will consider that I spent another effort because the scene's probably over.
I think Galen makes a very fair point. There could be an airbag at the bottom, so that's probably what happened. You guys really should just jump. Okay, 10 is great. So 10 is more than needed. 15, I'm sorry, you don't notice anything. You were too careful with your attention. Couple things you notice over here. First, you notice that the machine, like that, this large machine, it's not functioning. But what's sort of more interesting is that it looks relatively new by comparison to the other machinery in the area. Meaning it doesn't have the same engineering design, or at least it looks more like a hodgepodge smashed together of things. Definitely lacks a kind of elegance to it. I would say with a 15 and even with a 10, you both would guess that whoever put this machine here did so at a time different, more recent than some of these other ancient devices that you see here. And you also notice what looks like parts and pieces in it that are more modern, that are from some of the different species and groups that you have up on the surface of Big Husk. And so you can definitely tell that more than likely somebody was down here in this room, much like yourselves, exploring, scavenging, whatever it might be. And this was some sort of machine that they were helping to use it. And you can see various ways it might be broken down, but it's quite large. With a 15, and again, even with a 10, those are great rolls. You notice also off to the side on the wall, there's what you know as a defrag deck. I'm just going to give this to you guys with how good you guys rolled. I'm not even going to require a separate roll for this.
So Manka does not know what that is.
No, I think you're the one most likely to know what that is, considering your lineage. Your group, your people are far more technologically sophisticated than some of the others. And this is just something that a lot of the Milodronic defraggers that move about the subterranean areas and it's what they use to effectively try to neutralize tech or try to connect to tech. It's a more modern way of kind of interacting with it. And although this looks very damaged, as if some sort of massive jolt of energy has burst from it, you do think it could be repaired. And this is a not insignificant cost. Like, these things are pretty nice. And if you're a scavenging crew that's going to be frequently delving and diving into these sort of tech heavy dungeons, it's a nice thing to have, because it allows for even the less technically savvy to kind of interface with some of the machines in here. But it looks like whoever was using this likely triggered some kind of chain reaction and caused something horrible to happen in here. It's not sure exactly what, but you can easily grab it. Like, you could detach it from the wall safely and take it with you and find somebody up on the surface to fix it for you.
I will commence with doing that.
Awesome. And that's what you guys get from up here. I think... Octavia, what are you doing? You jumping down the hole?
No, I'm checking out these tank things.
Okay. So when you look at the tanks in the southwest, you can see that it has the same liquid that is in that central channel, that like kind of river in the middle of the room. It's the same kind of orangey brown. Without, like, you're not rushed on this, so you're standing right next to it and you're just kind of looking in. When you look inside, you can see that there's flakes of things just moving about. It's a very there's some sort of substances within the tank itself, in addition to just like this kind of colored liquid. And you would know from crossing over the bridge, looking down into it, the liquid had kind of a viscosity that is far greater than just water, even greater than like milk. It's not quite to the level of like a molasses, but there's a thickness to it here that is far greater. You notice that there are these some sort of tubes that seem to be extended out from it and that are connected into that river in the middle. And you can see that there's a big old hole in one of them, like a cut, and there is what looks like this hardened, like almost dried and crystallized chunk of this orange brown with all sorts of different flakes and crystals in it that seems to be clogging like the connection between the river and these tanks. You would guess it's some sort of filtration system.
Oh, okay.
But there is a blockage in it.
Do I mess? I don't know if I want to touch it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that be and go back to Sun and Vice. And I'm gonna tell him about it.
She tells
So,
you
like,
everything I just said, word
Yeah.
for word.
It
But
should be
cooler.
working, but it's like stopped up somehow.
I mean, it's busted at this point, but
Yeah.
basically what she determined is that there was liquid kind of flowing through these tanks and into this central channel. You guys see that there's like machinery and pipes and stuff in the water in that channel in the middle, and likely it was kind of filtering out something for who knows what reason. But at some point, a lot of this like kind of pasty residue that you see all throughout the room got into the liquid and has kind of clogged or coagulated inside some of those tubes.
Can I take a sample of some of this stuff that's
Yeah.
on the ground and around?
Yeah, no problem. You scrape some of it up. Probably have some
Where
kind of
was
specimen jar
the
or whatever on it.
clog in the tube compared to like the river?
Oh, it's just
Was
to
it
the
like
southwest.
close to the river, or was it just closer to the tank? Like in the line?
Just a couple feet up from the river. It's not that far away. From that central channel.
Okay. Can I search to see if there's any extra like tubing anywhere in the room?
I mean, at this point, I would say
Or,
you
like,
guys have kind of exhausted the various cubbies and things. And while there's, in addition to what's on the map, like there's a lot of like debris.
Got it. Okay.
So go ahead. No. What I'm saying is like you can kind of search if you want. Roll a notice whiz to see if you can find any. Don't flush the disposable rifles. It's very true, guys. It's very true.
Oh no, 5.
You do not find any, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a lot of busted and broken stuff. None of it looks too salvageable.
Taneko will kind of turn to Weiss and say, "Do you think it's worth trying to clear the clog? See what it does?"
If you want to spend the time to do that, I'll set up a rope that'll lead down this hole.
Oh, we're going down?
Yeah, there's no way up. They
Okay,
closed it on us.
Clearly, Weiss wants to take this hatch.
I mean, we could
hole
try and open it
for
back
as far
up.
as it
None
goes.
of you ever actually just climbed back up and said we try to reopen.
That's what I was about to do.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me see if I can like open it. Hold on, and Octavia will spend the time to climb up to see.
Sure,
if we can-
there's core here.
Okay. That'll take a few minutes. Weiss only knows one way, and it's
Weiss
down.
is like, "Let's go, Weiss is gone."
He's gonna make it all the way to the core of the planet one day. It's gonna be a good day. Okay, so Octavia's climbing up the ladder. Weiss and Sonika, you're messing around with this clog.
Weiss, are you putting a rope down the hole?
No, if it's clogged, or if the top way is blocked, I will. But I'll help you out with the pipes.
Okay. Yeah, you just notice. I don't want to like oversell it here, but it looks just like the liquid has coagulated. Like it's like a clot basically, and it's just this. It's not hardened perfectly, but there is like some hardened parts. But it looks like this heavy sludge. As if whatever the residue that kind of infected the liquid in the middle, in this room has kind of overtaken itself in here, and like it's managed to separate itself from some of the liquid and cause this giant clog.
So I'm gonna try to like pull the hose off of the kind of the tank, and then see if I can use gravity to try to.
Yeah, you can clear off the clog. I mean, the clog's not that's not a difficult thing to do. Like you can easily take care of that. We're in that really crazy music again for some reason.
This is an exciting clog.
It's just
we're gonna
like-
clear this clog, and
It's like
we're
you
all
have
gonna
5
drown.
seconds to clear this clog, and the whole place goes up. I was gonna go and put us in some standard music instead. It's freaking me out a little bit. I was a little too.
Never know around what corner danger lies.
Okay. So
Yes, adventures in plumbing.
adventures. Oh, there we go. So you're a gang of plumbers. Here's the premise. Everyone roll. They have different stats. It's great. See how low your pants hangs, the ass crack, the classic ass crack. Roll for plunger. So yeah, you're able to declog it, and so you have like this big chunk of stuff that you can keep if you want.
Sure.
Okay.
There's a sense of accomplishment for whatever that's
Okay.
worth.
And then by the time it takes you to finish that, Octavia, you're up the ladder. I need you to roll, just roll an exert test. Simple enough. 11 is more.
11.
Well, 8 was necessary. You managed to, and you managed to get the wheel to turn. You push up. That smoke flavor of the air and the scent begins to waft down into your nostrils, and you can get back up if you want.
Awesome. So Octavia like calls down and that she got it open. And then I want to like look and see if I hear. I want to listen to see if I can hear
The clicking
smoke.
sounds of the
Yeah.
smoke coils. Yeah, go ahead and roll. Notice whiz.
Okay.
And you're shouting
I
down,
always
so you
lose
guys
it.
hear Octavia shout down that everything.
Is
Yeah,
it
we'll
being
follow her up.
super loud?
Okay.
I always lose it. I should put my glasses on. There we go. 7.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
Okay. Over myself.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest of the two of you climb up. Okay, sure. So we leave this map, and I will bring you over to the other
I
one.
wonder what was down there.
It's not like this place goes away. It's a sandboxy game. You
Yeah,
can
we can
always come
come
back
back.
here at some point. It's totally fine. Like it's yeah. Like, okay. Yeah.
I don't think
That's
I'm supposed to see that.
yeah. Sorry. Don't worry about that. Sometimes I put stuff on the map and I just don't show it in case certain rolls go against you. Then I'll show it. So don't worry. doesn't mean anything.
So
Okay.
those footsteps that we were following.
So it's a dark. Don't forget that it's a very dark and smoke-filled area. 55 on Quidditch. That's exactly what this is going to be. So, which one of you is carrying the light?
I still have
me.
a lantern.
Okay. So I'm just changing this kind of stuff up. What about? So you're still doing your dark vision thing, Melissa?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. What about you, Octavia?
I had a torch,
Sounds good.
so still
just-
smoldering.
I'm just playing around. It's like I get so obsessed with these new toys and crap. It's so stupid of me.
I'm so stressed.
You should be. roll for stress. Roll sand.
Roll sand.
Roll sand. Oh, you hit your breaking point. Sorry, we played Delta Green too, so it was a good time last night. Everyone was in jail. So yeah.
I wasn't in jail.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note for myself.
Next
Melissa
session.
in
I
jail
will be.
next session. Okay, so you guys saw these little footprints going off.
Yeah, I tracked
In that
footprints
direction.
up there, and I found a ramp or like things I could climb up over here.
Yeah, Delta Green was pretty great last night, Millie. Everyone basically just went to jail. They're like, it's just, I don't know what was going on. It was weird. Everyone just kept getting arrested for stuff. Like, I want to get arrested. No, I want to get arrested. And they were escalating
You know,
the crime.
let's just try and like.
Criminal mischief? Nah,
me-
screw that. I'm just going to fire a gun in a crowded hotel. No problem. Really?
You gotta
Well,
manage the
I want to
spoilers.
get rid of this. Yeah, sorry.
Manage the spoilers
Sorry.
for chat.
Sorry.
We get excited.
Sorry. Thank you for
Yeah,
watching,
guys.
though.
So over here, I found like the tracks that I was following, and then there's like these like tubes we could climb up, and like there's like that like door. We could probably get there.
Lead the way then.
You've got a lantern.
I would love to. My friends, let's go.
Okay.
Okay. You guys come around, and you can see that there are these pipes right around there. And you can see that they are like pouring what looks like muddy water, maybe. Like they're like, it's like not pouring more as it's like dripping down into some sunken pool, maybe about 5 feet down, as if like this has long been happening. And it's just like over time has just been building and building the slow erosion and creating a pit. You also notice as you look a little bit further, like the pipes themselves are fairly large. They're probably about 2 feet or so in diameter. You can kind of climb on top of them. You notice that there's like kind of a tiered series of kind of concrete rubble, and it looks like you could probably climb up them. And you notice that kind of is what these little tracks do, is they sort of dissipate right next to what looks like some old metal grating that has long since been filled up with kind of dirt and concrete dust.
Octavia would pause at this point to look for the little blinking in and out yellow goblin that locked us in there.
Okay, I just paused. Sorry. It's a thing you can do. You can pause the game.
Hilarious.
I know. I'm very proud of myself. So you're looking for blinking...
The yellow goblin thing
Oh,
that like
yeah.
locked us in the hatch.
Yeah. Do you want to re-roll your notice wisdom? You didn't notice it before when you first opened.
Yeah, well, I wasn't looking for. I was just listening. So
Okay.
let me see. 8.
You do not notice a yellow blinking goblin thingy, no?
Okay,
Or do you hear any sort of clicking sound either?
cool. And then I'm gonna go over here.
Okay, you guys move up, follow the tracks, and as you look at the sides of this old kind of rusted pipe, you see that there's these tiny little scrape marks and such, like somebody was climbing, some small creature perhaps, or creatures plural, was climbing up here at some point.
Let's just keep following.
Okay.
So is it like too small for us to follow? Like, is it in like a little crook?
No,
I'm
they,
gonna
meaning they
climb
climb up the pipe. It looks like they climbed on top of the pipe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna climb up the pipe.
Yeah, and like what I'm saying is like you guys can climb up without a climb check. Like you can hop onto the pipes and then hop up onto the concrete. Like if you were to
Cool.
just try to climb the concrete, that would require probably a climb check. But here, okay, you climb up and you notice that there is a wall in front of you made of a substance different than the concrete that you've been seeing. This kind of gray construction material, but you see something that looks like kind of a plastic. It's smooth in some areas, and you can see there's a patterned hatch on half of the wall. It seems to go up fairly high, and you guys notice also to the left, walking across this metallic walkway, are more of those glowing projections that you saw. But at this point, you guys are capable of probably distinguishing between those that seem to be going through the motions of some kind of rote behavior and others that are staring at you, and none of them are staring at you. They all just seem to be going about. But you also know Vice very bravely noticed that actually coming in contact with these things is a little disorienting. Not something you want to do very frequently. So they won't harm you. They won't necessarily attack you either.
Which way do the footprints go?
They seem to be moving, and like they hop around the corner here, and then you kind of lose them as there's like this jutting of what looks like fallen rock from above. You look at about 60 feet above you, you can see that this metal and plastic building goes upwards into what looks like concrete construction material, and then there's like a huge chunk in the ceiling that has fallen down, and you imagine it's here and it maybe has crashed down as well. There's like a lot of busted areas here. Like it looks like some of the sides of the walls and things have crumbled down to that level below you.
Sorry, I saw the Law and Order thing, and it's like that's exactly what we did.
Actually, I have a Law and Order idea for a show. Remember that podcast idea we had?
Yes.
We can't talk about it on air because someone will steal it because you're all a bunch of thieves. But no, God, that was such a good idea. But the amount of work that would go into that is unreal. So
I'd have to be able to work less.
Yeah. Tell you what, when we hit it big, when we become Critical Role Part 2 or Glass Cannon Podcast Part 2, we'll go ahead and do it. But until then,
hell yeah,
you're just stuck with this stuff. All right, what are you guys doing?
Well, so Octavia, I had noticed earlier that there is a door over here that we could enter. I'm gonna come forward here, and I want to see if I can identify the tracks anywhere.
Claw and Order. I like it. That's really good. They seem to be going into the building. You see that there is a crack in the wall. It's not a door. It's like literally the wall has suffered some sort of severe damage from falling rock, and you can see that there's like a crevice in it. You also notice that it's more like you have to crawl underneath, as opposed to, it's like maybe about 3 to 4 feet tall. Like there's a hole in the ground, like on the base of the wall. So you have to like kind of get down on your hands and knees and crawl under it. But you can see those little tiny little chinchilla footprints are moving off in that direction. But you would need to get on your hands and knees in a very compromised position to get inside.
Octavia, she has no fear except for one of these crawling into her body again.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit.
Okay.
One fear.
One fear. Just one fear.
For now.
Just
for
body
now.
horror. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, like the footprints like follow in here. Like, I'll go in first, and I'm gonna crawl in.
I just like when you do the voice. I quit. Like I can't. I love it. Like it's amazing. It reminds me speaking of Garblag, it reminds me when I was playing on Traveler and I was doing that stupid Keanu Reeves voice. What? Oh my god, there's like a wall here. What? Okay, so yeah, you crawl under and you crawl inside. I will move you inside because there's a wall there that kind of breaches it. And Octavia, you notice a few things.
Okay.
Let me reposition the map slightly for people on stream and watching. You notice a few things. You notice that there is a large dome, like a big old snow dome on top of some kind of platform right in front of you. There's this weird, shimmering, shifting yellow force field. And beneath it, there's like a dozen of these furkin creatures that are in various states of what you think might be pain as they're kind of contorting and shifting, but they're doing so in a way that doesn't look like it's muscular changes of shape. It almost seems like they're phasing, like they're shifting in some way. When you were watching some of these holographic projections move and shift and change shape, it's almost like that, but it like they're still trying to retain physical form. There's like a phasing quality to it. You can't hear anything. You can see their mouths moving. You imagine they might be trying to communicate, but you can't hear any sound coming out of it. You do see one of these other glowy figures operating what looks like a console to the left of you, and then there is a much larger, what almost looks like series of servers that are packed up and stacked about 7 to 8 feet tall. And there is another one of those figures. And again, neither of them seem to really pay attention to you as you crawl inside. The Furkins, however, are staring at you with these cute, adorable faces that are in awful agony and pain, like their faces are being ripped apart in terrible, awful ways.
Can you move us up into that room?
No, there's only room for her. Sorry. No,
Right.
yeah.
What was their name? The
Woolavies.
Woolavies. I don't know what I was trying to spell in my notes, but that was not
The
that.
Willoughbys?
The Willoughbys.
Willoughbys.
Stop at Willoughby is an excellent Twilight Zone episode.
So none of those guys look sentient.
I don't know what that looks like.
Are they looking at us?
They're not looking at you.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm. And they just seem to be operating it. Like, you don't even see the buttons and the sliders. That's the word I was thinking of before, as opposed to the L word. They're not moving, but their arms are kind of functioning and doing this in some way. And same with the one that's over by these server racks. They're reaching out. It looks like they're doing stuff. It's like they're going through the motions of whatever kind of IT support that they're supposed to be doing here, and nothing that they're interacting with is physically reacting to their movements.
Can I try and see if I can figure out what this console does? Like, is there a stop button? Like, not
There's a big giant red button. Roll a craft int or a no int, either one of those. And I want a DC 10.
Just Octavia or anybody else?
Yeah, your brain falls out of your ear. It's really strange. Yeah, this thing it's like a kindergarten reading a calculus textbook. Like, it's just like differential equations left and right.
I'm
You
like,
have no idea
yes,
what you're looking at. Like,
this is
I think I could eat a pizza off of this thing. Like, it's just, yeah, you have no clue. Yeah. Yeah, you guys.
Vice, do you have any idea what this does?
Oh, I can take a look.
Sure. Vice steps up, starts to mansplain how it works like a jackass.
Come here, ladies.
Now listen.
Let me tell you. Listen here.
Come on, this is how it works. It's so obvious.
Okay. So you sidle up next to this monitor, and as you're watching the patterns of this, it's not so much that you know what you're doing, but you just are patient. You kind of, it's that sort of internal, ability to just sort of focus, and you just watch the movements of the arms of this figure, and you start to sort of derive what looks like some kind of patterns. Like, they move and they move things about, and then they kind of shift. And I think you would have a fair idea of about 3 or 4 different series of commands or like input sequences that you could probably do. You're not sure exactly what would happen with them, because this console doesn't seem to be physically reacting to what it's doing, but you see the patterns of the arms and the hands, right? And so mechanically, what that means is that if you want to do one of those, we roll a d4 and we see what happens.
Oh, God.
So you were explaining the Furkins earlier in this thing. They just look like holograms as well?
No, they look like people. They look like physical things that are being ripped apart like they're physically bending, like almost like mirages. They're bending their bodies in some way. Yeah.
While you're doing this,
excruciatingly painful. They're so
Octavia's
adorable.
just like yelling. It's just like, don't worry. Wrong accent. That's Lavinia. Guys, I'm so sorry. We are trying. These evil rocks, we got it. And she's gonna get her sword out, and I'm gonna give Vice time to like try something. But if that doesn't work, I'm gonna start cutting cords and beating stuff.
Okay, I will also notice, by the way, you see no cords connecting to this platform, much like
I didn't see before either, but I will
that's
dig
fair.
in the ground.
The difference is that there is like this dome that's covering the entirety of the platform here.
All right, I've got some actions I can try here, but don't blame me if something goes wrong.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and do it.
Vice, roll a d4.
2.
Ooh, that's not a good one.
Jeffrey.
What? What did I do? Where is everyone standing currently? Go ahead and move your tokens on the map to where you'd be standing while this happens. Is that where you're standing, Octavia?
Yeah.
Is where you're standing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So as you do that, you watch as the force field that is encompassing this small Firkin family expands, and suddenly you see Sonika get swallowed up in it. Sonika, I need you to roll a physical save. The frail one, by the way. The one who, if reduced to 0 HP, dies.
You get a +2 on this from my ability.
Oh, cool.
Just being
Oops.
near me.
Let's expand that to...
Damn it.
But you
How
get-
long would you say it's
that's
been
including the
That makes it
+2.
14.
tonight?
Oh, you added it already.
It's been
I added it
3
already.
days.
I'm just wondering if, in case I need that extra point,
Okay.
if it's been another hour.
Since the fight below, no, I don't think it's been well, actually, you guys did explore a lot.
Before
You
the fight.
healed. I would say
Before the fight and the movement.
yeah, it's been an hour. You can take an extra HP. That's fine.
All right.
She gets like a natural HP. It's part of her one of her
Master's
class abilities.
vigor.
However, as you're inside, and how much HP do you have? I'm just kind of curious.
Now I have 10.
Okay.
That's what I wanted
that's
to
good.
know.
That's good. Now you have 8 as the force field expands, and you suddenly are. It's like it happens in a blink. Like it's like the speed of light, no time to react, and you're suddenly caught within it, and you feel all parts of your body just being torn and pulled and bent in different directions. You look down and you see your hand. Just one of the fingers just elongates more than it should, and then the actual palm itself begins to fold, and you just feel immense amounts of pain, the degrees to which you've never felt before. You also hear the sounds of a dozen adorable chinchillas screaming out in pain.
Yeah, I am definitely also
Mhm.
screaming out in pain.
Okay.
Tanenka.
I'll have somebody do the same thing.
Okay. Roll a d6, divide by 2. I assume you're not going to do the same thing you just did.
Yeah.
Which now you know expands the field. So roll a d3. So you can do slap. Okay, that's fine. So this will... Okay. All right. Okay. So Octavia, I need you to roll... Actually, you don't even get a save. You're standing over by this large tower of servers, and you watch as the light in the room, which is mostly the dome itself and these people, you see like this flickering of electricity as one of the servers, one of these boxes near, explodes, and it bursts right in your face. You're standing next to it. I'm sorry. And you take just 1 point of damage from fire as you're like, you feel like a little singe across your cheek. As Vice, you think maybe it was trying to like tap into the servers, trying to like maybe funnel power or something like that. Maybe a fuse blew.
Right. Try again.
Let's do all the commands.
Ow.
There's actually one thing I got to do first, though.
No.
You take 1 more point of damage, Sonika, as you continue to contort around. Roll a
no.
d2, Vice, as you're down to 2 more. Okay.
One.
All right, and as you see the dough fall down, it just starts up here and it just kind of peels away until the rim around the outside of the platform is glowing this kind of faint yellow, and Sonika and this Ulavi Firkin family collapse to the ground, free of this platform. It's at this point you notice, Sonika, that in addition to there's about a dozen or so chinchillas in here, but you also notice there's about 3 or 4 bodies of chinchillas on the ground as well, as if over time that they've been here, a couple have perished. Yeah, and they likely were a larger swarm when they first were captured, and they look a little bit smaller at this point. But they collapse to the ground, and they look up, and you just hear like 3 or 4 of them in unison just say, "Thank you," and they just collapse out of just this sense of exhaustion from having to like physically be contorted in such shapes for so long. Do you want to try the 4th one?
Yeah, to fully understand how
No.
this works. Let's see what the last command does.
What
Let
the
me
hell is
remove them
wrong
out
with you?
first.
Do you want to do anything else?
What do you mean?
So I'm like, do you do that right away, or do you?
Oh, just once I get it out of the way.
Okay. And once you pull
Thanks
them
for
away,
clarifying.
and once you pull them away, you watch as the rim around the platform lights up and it encloses it. So you have one that like basically brings it up, one that brings it down, one that expands or restricts the field depending upon where it's at, and one that just seems to sort of funnel power to try to do something that didn't work. That would have been awesome.
That's terrifying.
Oh, they're talking about Big E in the chat. Big E is the only death that I regret from Alien. Everybody else.
Didn't you guys say I killed him?
Yeah, it's your fault. Is that? Oh, that's right, Matt. I don't know if you realize this. I think it was Matt. Sorry. It's Ashley's fault. It's her right here. There was a bit war that was going on during that session, and Ashley threw out some bits because she wanted a negative
Keelan, no.
complication. And that's why a second xenomorph showed up. Had
Renegade.
Ashley had this horrible person right here, had she not done it, Big E would still be alive. Just saying. We've
And
since
Adam will
changed our
never
bits rules
forgive
since
me.
then, so as not to have too much
Yeah.
of an influence. But
I
that's
think
why.
I only did like two donations that game.
Yeah. But boy, did you get your money's worth. Because you
timing.
killed
The timing
you
of it.
killed a
Oh, I
character with
waited.
them. It was amazing.
I felt awful.
The New York accent. Oh man, you should watch the Change Stars play, where all we do is do like New York accents.
Yeah,
Like,
welcome.
let's
Welcome to
do a
New
change.
Jersey.
Yeah, it's the Tri-Moon area.
I'm trying to schmooze on my
It's
lady.
the Diesel Shot and Spider Queen Long, their game Change Stars that just finished up on Kickstarter. We did a run of it a couple weeks back. All right, let's get back to it. So you've got these unconscious, but from what you can tell, the bulk of the family seems to be intact. What you guys like to do?
See if that fuse that blew is like repairable at all.
What's that?
The fuse that blew on the machine.
Okay, roll a craft. Craft int or craft dex even, if you prefer dex.
7.
Okay, you're not sure. Yeah.
Um,
DC 8.
So we wouldn't be able to carry all of them, right? Because they're kind of big.
These? No, you could pick them up. You split them up between the 3 of you. Yeah, they're not very big. Each one of them is probably the size of like maybe a 15-pound dog or something like that. And so there's about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Firkin families tend to range. It depends upon. There's like different species. They're all kind of rodent mammal types, and they function as one unit effectively. They don't like being split up for extended periods of time. So if you do split them up, you all would know that you would want to stay relatively close to one another, because if you suddenly they wake up and they are a significant distance from their family, they can have massive like psychological trauma to them.
Because I have like a tunic kind of thing. Like I have like a tank top underneath, but then I have like a loose tunic, and like like baby slings. I kind of just want to like tie it up in one of those and just start tucking them in my shirt with me, as many as I can.
Okay, you got like tails just sticking out.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Is this the family we were looking for, or just a random one?
It could be the one you're looking for. It could
We
be a
ask
random
them
one.
if they're the Willoughbys.
Sure. Does anyone want to roll a heal test on them to help them? Because they've been caught in this some horrible, painful stasis for
Our
a couple days.
wonderful healer.
Yeah, I should check on their status.
I mean, there are a couple that are dead there on the platform, and you were like,
Yeah, we
"Nah,
do
I
need to
want
bring
to,
the
I want to
bodies
screw
back."
around with my little new toy some more." Oh boy,
What is the test here? Heal?
long looking like a sexy boy. You got a fan in the chat.
Yeah, it's like
Ziva's in there.
You're on 8.
I really did want to get Matt's company agent. Oh man, it's fantastic. An 8. Okay, I'll say that's not necessarily enough to confer like any large amount, but I'll say just for flavor's sake, it's enough to kind of do a cursory examination. None of the members that are currently intact right now look to be on the verge of dying. It looks
Are they
like
mortally wounded?
no, they were in some kind of weird, painful stasis. And you can tell, though, that some of the other bodies that are still on the platform, like you can actually track back just by examining them how long ago each one of the individual members died. And one of them died very recently, like within the last hour.
So if we didn't go down the hatch, we probably would have saved that one.
I
I
didn't
feel
want to
like
say
is
that.
the
but,
insinuation there.
I mean, if that's how you're going to interpret it, I'm not going to stop you. Okay. But yeah, you talked to them when you mentioned that you were going to send them, and they're like,
Yes, it's so thank you so much. Oh, the pain. Oh, we're so grateful. Oh.
and they all cough in unison.
Are there more of you? It's just
Sadly, the rest of our family was rendered defeated by this rueful machine. I only wish you could have arrived sooner. But thank you nonetheless.
Awful.
I'm a bad person.
Do you know the purpose of this?
This here
Is this punishment or what is this for?
cruel yellowish gremlin creature, as we were examining the ruins here and peeking at the platform, appeared out of nowhere and attempted to communicate. We did with it. We said, "Hello, we are the Woolavies. We are here exploring. Who are you?" And it just flickered in and out of existence. But for one of the moments when it was flickered in, it turned a knob on that console and trapped all of us within, and then flickered again out of existence. A cruel creature.
That's what locked us in the thing.
Are we healthy enough to try to call it and take care of it? Or do we just destroy the machine so it can't do this again
Well,
anytime
I mean,
soon?
we could scavenge from this later, maybe. Just like turn it off, like the power. I could hit it.
I mean, I don't want them to just find the next group and start doing this an hour
you want
after
me
we
to hit it?
leave.
No, do not destroy the machine. It did nothing on its own to us, and besides, this is our livelihood. If we were to destroy any machine we came across that threatened us, then we would be destitute quickly.
Okay, that's fair.
We have marked
Let's
it,
get them out of here.
and we will return to the surface with you if it's permitted.
Well, of
Yeah.
course, that's why we're here.
you said the Woolavies, right? That's where we're going.
Yes, we're the Woolavies.
Yeah. Let's get you guys out of here.
Cool.
The Breezel sent us to come find you.
Ah, they are family friends. Very kind of them. Us, we're out running Firkin. We stick together. We look out for one another. It's not often that large folk like yourselves wander down here to save us. We appreciate it greatly. We likely would have been dying in agony for who knows how long. We have not slept for days, rested or eaten. Do you have a sandwich? Something we could nibble on? We're very hungry and thirsty. You didn't offer us anything.
Yeah, I have food. Where are my manners? I
don't know.
apologize.
I was wondering. I mean, you saved us, so I didn't want to criticize you too bad.
And Octavia will like offer some of her rations or whatever.
Okay, and they just begin to like very like animalistic. As I nearly knocked my hat off. Okay.
Okay. Whoever like wants to like hop in my shirt thing, let's go.
They all kind of look at each other.
Are you guys gonna walk or
Like-
what would you?
Do you have a bag or something, a pack? We could.
Oh
climb
yeah,
in?
I got that too.
And they
You
all
could climb on my back in the shirt.
I don't
I'm
know
not
you
sweaty.
that well.
I
I just
promise.
thank you. Many of us have, like we said, we are in great deal of exhaustion, fatigue.
Yeah. Go ahead, take a nap.
Okay.
You got this.
Try not to do anything too crazy out there.
I'll say like a code word if I need to. I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Okay.
Snowball.
Snowball. Okay, good. Snowball.
All
I
right.
have to write this down.
Okay.
Hopefully, we don't run into the yellow figure on our way back out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How'd you
that's not
say
my
that?
concern. I mean, it
Should
is.
be. Jeff rolling dice is always a
What?
concern.
I didn't do anything. Mind your business. Okay, see what you guys do.
Follow the footprints in reverse.
God, too old to twitch. Okay, so you get back down. How do you want to get back to the surface?
Forgot how we came down here.
You guys climb down a large exhaust pit in the manufactory district, and then you climbed underneath the wrecker district and made your way here. If you recall, you remember that large like kind of vent that went down. People were just dumping trash down it onto a geyser.
Yeah, where did we go from the mag?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
when
know.
we did that delve where you guys just kind of traveled in sort of an eastward, southeastward direction.
Could we reverse the delve?
You could?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just follow our steps back, I think.
Yeah.
Now that we've
Because I
got
had chalk
our
or
cargo.
whatever.
Okay. So you just work your way back the way you came?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to say we're getting close to the end here, so I won't belabor the point. But I will say this, that as you guys begin climbing down, heading west a bit to try to get back to the way you came, you turn back one more time, and you see like propped up on that walkway, that metallic walkway, just kind of sitting on the railing, kind of looking down at you as you travel past it. And then as you turn back and you look, you see this kind of yellow flickering gremlin-like creature just chuckling away. And if any of you even so much as makes a move towards it, just flickers out of existence and disappears. As you move forward and try to like maybe get closer, you hear like the sudden clicking coming from the east, and probably think better of it as you can see vaguely moving through the smoke what looks like this massive snake. And you turn around and you just sort of book it and you hike and you get the hell out. And because you guys already know the way, I'm going to go ahead and say we'll hand wave your return back to the surface. And you're able to. And you get back to Big Husk. You climb. As you pass by the sort of the underground lake, you see no signs of Mag, but you do know where Mag lives, which is relatively close to that long shaft that you climbed down from the surface. So at any point, if you want to go revisit Mag, you have an idea of where they live, and you also have probably done a decent job of mapping out some of these compartments that you went to. But we'll say, for the sake of it, you return to the surface. You
Deliver the Willoughbys.
You deliver the Willoughbys to safety. You get the second half of your payment, and we'll go ahead and pick up on that when we get back next week. We'll probably do. I think we already had a next gig in mind, right? Weren't you guys going to do the next gig from Ruvala next? I believe, which was.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll pick up on that next time.
We might be able to level up.
At this point, you guys should be able to level up. So you should be able to hit to 3, I believe. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys should all be
we
3.
should have enough.
And we'll start up next week on that. Okay, so let's close it down. Those of you who hung out tonight, we saw some new names. Thank you for hanging out. We really appreciate
welcome,
it.
everybody.
It's awesome to see new people. We hope you enjoyed our little game. If you're watching this later on VOD or on YouTube, we definitely appreciate you checking us out there. If you ever get a chance, come check us out live, twitch.tv/thelollygaggers. We play games on Mondays, Fridays, and on Saturdays. Mondays, we tend to alternate between free league games, so either Alien or Things from the Flood currently. On Fridays, we've been doing Delta Green. I've been playing through the Impossible Landscapes campaign. And then on Saturdays, we do our Worlds Without Number, science fiction adventure, semi-hex crawl type stuff. If you're curious about when we're playing anything else we're doing, follow me on Twitter @LollygaggerCO, and I usually announce all of our stuff there. But aside from that, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and see who's up, and we'll probably raid someone. So if you guys want to hang out, we'll give someone a raid. Looks like a couple people are still playing. Looks like TPK roleplay is up, so I'm going to throw us on an end screen really fast. Going to get a raid going. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See ya.